Helen, there's the more obvious question I want to pose to you now, which is really this. There has been a lot of toing and froing, and I get it. I'm not going to ask you to go into the negotiation details and all that. That's not really what we want to hear necessarily. Actually, we would, but there is something to be said about the general animosity that has circled, almost like buzzards or vultures, around this GNU process. You've spoken to one element of it, and that is the sort of hard left race nationalist side of the equation, who have almost lambasted this thing from the very beginning, citing the usual tropes. So, the DA is a white party. You're here to bring back apartheid. This is all white supremacy, to which the ANC is simply not black enough. We're here to resist the overtures of a white Helen Zille-led or John Steenhuisen-led DA. I wanted to speak to this because that is the climate under which perhaps right now a lot of people are understanding even this GNU process, at least online, and actually aided by some of their chums in the media.
Well, people need to understand that if you want to form a government, but you don't get 50%, then you need other parties to form a government with you. Unless you want to go into a minority government, which is very unstable and very difficult. Because if you go into a minority government without 50% of the support in the council or the legislature, whatever sphere of government it is, if you go in without that 50%, you survive from meeting to meeting. Every bit of legislation that comes up, you have to start finding enough people to support it to get it through. Every decision that is made, you have to find enough people to get it through. And it makes it very difficult to govern and deliver. I mean, I was in a minority coalition government for a very short period of time, but that was really, really hard, I can tell you. And then I was in a majority coalition, and then we got an overall majority, and then we could really govern and get going. So obviously they're going to be critics, but then they must just tell us what is better. The best thing for South Africa would have been to have got a clear DA majority. Then we could really have got the country going, and we could have got the economy growing, investment, jobs, service delivery. We could have done all of that. But we didn't get 50% plus one in the Democratic Alliance, and no party did nationally. No party did at all. And so the point is we have to have a government, and then how do you form it? And the ANC decided they wanted a government of national unity. That wasn't our first choice. No, not by a long shot. But it wasn't our first choice. But we had to decide, do we go in? And we thought of it long and hard and had debates through the Federal Council and through the Federal Executive, and everybody was allowed to put their case. And we came to the conclusion that the situation, today is very different from the one that we faced in the 1990s. Today, we've got much more leverage. We can get really serious cabinet positions that can make a substantial change, and we'll be able to help turn South Africa around and put it on the path to recovery. We'll certainly try to do that. We'll put everything we can into it to see if it can be done.
Hey, thanks for watching. You can find the full episode on our YouTube channel. Just search for Big Daddy Liberty. And remember to leave a like, share, and subscribe.